Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Star Wars Out of the Box with me, Dill Streep. Each week I grab an old Star Wars item of mine. They could be toys, books, memorabilia, review the item, talk about its place within Star Wars and what it means to me. If you like these kinds of videos, please give me a like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. Today is an absolute beast. It's the LEGO Star Wars Death Star. That's right, it's the LEGO Star Wars Death Star. This is set number 75159. It stands tall and proud on the table, depicts many scenes from Star Wars A New Hope and Star Wars Return of the Jedi, and has a whopping 25 minifigs, which I think is up there for the highest number of minifigs in one Star Wars set. And it seems like a good place to start. Of course we have R2-D2 and C-3PO, the classic duo. Then there's a Chewbacca with a firing bowcaster. There's a special Han Solo figure that came with the set. Obviously he's not wearing the right clothes for the scenes, but he's been included as a special bonus. Then we have Luke and Leia destined to swing across the chasm together. A Return of the Jedi era Luke Skywalker. There's old Ben Kenobi, or Obi-Wan Kenobi. Then for a bit of fun we've got Han and Luke in Stormtrooper gear. TK-421, do you copy? And then there's an Imperial astromech and a Death Star droid, which leads nicely into the more sinister backline. 2 more Stormtroopers, 2 Death Star gunners. I think these are the guys. 2 Death Star troopers, an Imperial officer and an Imperial Navy officer. Then we've got Grand Moff Tarkin, Darth Vader with lightsaber ignited, and then a pair of royal guards surrounding the Emperor. But the Emperor is clearly firing Force lightning out of his hands, so maybe he doesn't need the royal guard after all. This is also the first set that me and a couple of AFOL friends started referring to the instructions as the sacred texts, after Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, and I think you'll be able to see why. This thing is huge. It's a thick, heavy bound tome that gives you 500 plus steps on how to build this thing. Fun story, I'd been after this set for a couple of years and spotted it one day on the sale on one of our leading online shopping websites. But even on a massive sale, it was still stupidly expensive. So I texted my then girlfriend, now wife, to ask for some advice. She said I should go for it. I thought I should go for it, but my bank account was being a bit more considered. Talk about bank balance. Anyway, I told her that the deal would last till the end of the day and I'll think about it some more. Later that day, the excitement got the better of me and I ordered and paid for it. Then I had to sheepishly tell my then girlfriend, now wife, that I'd done so, at which point it turned out that she'd also ordered it and paid for it for me, which was a really lovely gesture, and I almost had 2 of these things. Thankfully we were able to reverse one of the orders in time. So let's get a closer look at the LEGO Death Star. Alright, I've set it up more or less like the front of the box. And let's get something out the way right at the start. As you can see, the laser on the Death Star is certainly priming to fire up, but it is missing that middle beam. Unfortunately, this set is a few years old now and it's moved with me from house to house about 3 times. And in so doing, I seem to have lost that stack of pieces. So if you have a couple spare translucent Lumo Green Death Star laser pieces and can send them my way, that'd be great. But aside from that, the set is complete. I think it'll be best to move through the set from the bottom up, looking at each of the quadrants as we go. So at the very bottom of the Death Star, there isn't too much going on details-wise. I think it's mainly there to serve as a strong base to hold the rest of this behemoth's weight. But there are a couple of little barrels, an astromech droid, and this piece of handrail, a detail which I'm sure the Death Star gunners would have approved of. But then as we move up the set, there's the trash compactor. As you can see, it's housing our heroes, a bit of debris, and even the eye of the Diagoner, or Diagoner. And if we pull on this lever here, the walls move in and out, leaving our heroes a lot thinner by the end of this, to paraphrase Han Solo. I really love the detailing on these massive Star Wars LEGO sets, and something to notice is the lighting on the door above the trash compactor. It's just those little details that make the set so good. But eventually, once C-3PO manages to get R2-D2 to shut down all the trash compactors on the detention level, you can open the door like so and have them retreat to safety. We'll come back to the trash compactor later. Next up is this little platform where Obi-Wan goes to shut down the tractor beam that's holding the Millennium Falcon captive. As you can see, when you pull this lever out, the core drops away, which is a good representation of the power shutting down. Then we have the chasm that Luke and Leia have to swing across to evade the stormtroopers, but not before a little kiss for good luck. And then this section seems to be a little armory. There are a couple blasters against this wall, as well as this little crane that you can manually move around. I assume this is for general maintenance. This section also houses this little platform, which moves on this crankshaft to rise up to the next level. And finally on this level there's a massive rotating turbo blaster turret with spring-loaded shooters. If I press down on here, whoa, that's actually quite powerful. Let's try to hit the camera. Oh, it's a near miss. Seems like some of the trash compactor debris has made its way over. If we go back for a second to this platform that rises up to the next level, you can see this is a hangar bay with Darth Vader's modified TIE fighter, and it's a fun little mini build within the set. The wings are on hinges, and the cockpit opens down forward. Sadly, I don't think Vader can fit inside. Let's see. Oh. Huh? Learn something new every day. Vader fits perfectly inside his modified TIE fighter. We'll put that back in the hangar bay for now. And then if we move around again, we can see the super laser firing dish, which definitely needs a little bit of Q20 or WD-40 depending on where in the world you're watching this. This can actually be controlled from the top here in terms of side to side and up and down, which means you could accurately target Alderaan if you really wanted to. There's also a cog system that opens this door between the two sections. Then we have the detention block, and there's a bit of action in this scene going on. Stormtroopers are running in. One of these characters is definitely asking where they're taking this thing. There's a number of control pads and this multi-camera system that they blast to avoid detection. There's also a forced perspective created with these tunnels and a sticker at the very back that makes the detention corridor look really long. So you can remove this one panel. Obviously that's not great for keeping prisoners in, but good for this video. You can place Luke at the door, turn another cog, have it open up, and have Leia question his height as he attempts to free her. And as I mentioned earlier, we'd come back to the trash compactor. You can blast out this one panel on the other side of her detention cell by turning this cog, and then as you drop them in, they fall right down into the trash compactor. Chewie's still there, he didn't seem to get out the first time. And as we turn this corner, we jump 6 years ahead to the finale of Return of the Jedi. We're in the Emperor's throne room, and we've got a couple of royal guards, Luke Skywalker with green lightsaber, Darth Vader, and the Emperor in his throne, which swivels around in a way that only the Emperor can make look cool. There's also these guardrails that protect gaps in the floor. I assume this is where you could take the Emperor once he's lightning the hell out of Luke, grab Vader, grab the Emperor, and toss him down. Dead. Again, I love the attention to detail. Luke's got one flesh-colored hand and one black glove, to show where he lost his hand in The Empire Strikes Back. And you can have the emotional ending of Luke and Vader, and even take off half of Vader's helmet, leaving just the breathing apparatus and his scarred face. I have to save you. You already have, my son. So if we go straight up a level from there, we've got a set of rotating turbo blasters. These would be the kind that fire at the X-Wings during the Death Star trench run. And a neat bit of Lego Technic mechanism allows them to move smoothly in unison. Next to that we have the droid repair shop. It's got a little gurney which if you lift up, there's actually a cog that controls the hangar bay below. So I can place a droid on the gurney and using a number of tools carry out repairs. Of course this is where a bit of Lego humor comes in, because we've literally got a drill, a tire iron, an oil can, a ratchet set, and these other two little droids to help. There's a mouse droid and this kind of cargo droid. This room also has a crankshaft that powers a lift that runs right through the center of the entire set. So you could have droids or supplies brought up right from the base all the way to the top here. Next quadrant over is the super laser fire control room, where again we've got one of the guys. And there's also a window here that you can have Leia and Vader standing by as Grand Moff Tarkin gives the order to fire when ready. So at first you see Alderaan, peaceful, no weapons. It blasts, you turn the tile around, and suddenly it's smithereens. And last but certainly not least, it's the conference room, where Imperial officers gather around and bicker about their stronghold on the galaxy. This guy has the nerve to ridicule Vader for his faith in that ancient religion, to which Vader says speak to the hand, and almost chokes him out, before Tarkin intervenes. So that is my LEGO Star Wars Death Star. I really hope you enjoyed this quick review, and as always I prepared a little something for the end of this video. In this case, a handful of stop frame animations playing out iconic scenes on the Death Star. Enjoy!
Don't try to frighten us with your sorcerer's ways, Lord Vader. Your sad devotion to that ancient religion has not helped you conjure up the stolen data tapes.
Enough of this. Vader, release him.
As you wish.
What was that? That's nothing.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Star Wars Out of the Box. If you did enjoy it, please give it a look, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. Until next time, I'm Dill Streep. Goodbye. As you can see, the laser on the Death Star, oh gosh, that door does open. I don't know how. Let's try to find Leia. Vader somewhere. He's in his ship still. Of course, now with lightning in his hands, he doesn't fit down. Come on. And around the corner from that... now we're done there. Where's Leia? To which Vader says, "Speak to the hand."